Well, good morning, Fin fans. As we gather today, surrounded by family, friends, and the warmth of community, let's take a moment and reflect on the meaning of Thanksgiving. This cherished holiday is more than just a feast, it's a celebration of gratitude, a moment maybe to pause and recognize the blessings in our lives, big or small. The origins of Thanksgiving remind us of the strength found in unity. It stems from a time when diverse people came together despite their challenges to share the bounty of harvest. It was a moment of collaboration, generosity, and recognition of shared humanity. Together, or I should say today, it stands as a reminder that even in times of struggle, there's always something to be thankful for and someone to be thankful to. Gratitude lies at the heart of Thanksgiving. It's not just about what's on the table, it's about who's around. It's about cherishing the connection or enrich our life in acknowledging the support and kindness we receive from others. In a fast paced world, Thanksgiving invites us to slow down and look around and to recognize the simple yet profound gifts life offers. Think about the things that life brings you. It's also a day of giving back, a reminder that gratitude becomes even more meaningful when it's shared, to be honest. Whether it's through a kind word or a helping hand or a gesture of generosity to those in need, Thanksgiving teaches us that the truest way to express gratitude is through action. So today, Finn's Tailgate, let's embrace the spirit of the holiday. Let's honor our tradition while making new memories. Let us remember that Thanksgiving isn't confined to one day, but it's a mindset we can carry forward. Finding joy in togetherness, expressing thanks in all seasons, and sharing our abundance with others. May your Thanksgiving be filled with love, laughter, and warmth of gratitude. Let us leave the inspired. Let us leave here inspired to make every day Thanksgiving. And with that, this is Top of the Tailgate.
New seasons, new gear. Show the world what it means to be a fan in 100% authentic gear. Fanatics. Officially licensed everything.
Get ready to dive into a new world of online shopping with the Finn's Tailgate. Whether you're a die-hard sports fan or just looking for the latest fashion trends, we've got you covered. With a wide variety of products from your favorite sports teams to stylish accessories and home decor, we're your one-stop shop for all things tailgate. Our easy-to-use website and hassle-free checkout process make shopping with us a breeze. Plus, with frequent sales and discounts, you won't want to shop anywhere else. So come on in and join the party at the Finn's Tailgate, your new go-to destination for all things tailgate.
Again, thank you for joining Top of the Tailgate. It's been a while, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it has. It's been a while. We've been running some Saturday night wolf packs on during the season, and Top of the Tailgate has been put on the side, but not for the holidays. It's Thanksgiving. And as I said earlier, we need to celebrate Thanksgiving every day. And on behalf of the TFTG family, that means everybody from the top, El Cap, myself, Color, Mike on the mic, Tonk. Let's not forget Crypto, Shake Money, of course. Everybody, Lewis included, everybody, thank you. And happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, right? Let's talk about Thanksgiving for a moment. What are we thankful for? I'm thankful for my family, my kids, my wife, everything that I have, everything I own, my parents, everybody. I'm thankful I have them in my lives. It's what keeps me going. I'm also thankful to the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins, they have brought joy, they have brought laughter, they have brought sadness, they have brought anger to my life. But what is that called? That's life. It's a breath of life that hits you every day, right? Without the Dolphins, life would be mediocrity, if you really want to think about it. Yeah, I may have some other sport I might be interested in, but not like how I love the Dolphins. The Dolphins are my team. They have been since, what was I, 5 or 6 years old? And Grandma, may you rest in peace. It's because of you that I'm a Dolphins fan, and I will always thank you for that. Without that, this is a known fact. I said this on my very first episode here on TFTG, that my grandmother is the reason I'm a Dolphins fan. I thank her every day. Even though she's passed, I think of her every day and thank her every day for that. Without her bringing me a Miami Dolphins hat when she visited Florida, right? When I was a kid, she'd go to Florida every year and come back with gifts for me. Without her doing that, I wouldn't know all of the great legends that I've gotten to see play. Dan Marino, OJ McDuffie, Ricky Williams, I wouldn't get to see when we drafted Ryan Tannehill and had Jason Taylor and Cameron Wake and all these other players, Tua, Waddle, Tyreek, Mostert, Achane. Remember when we had Brandon Marshall or Zach Thomas? Think of all of the greats that have played this game, right? David Long. All the players that have come through and been a Miami Dolphin, think of all of them. The list could be indefinite, right? I wouldn't get to know that if it wasn't for my grandmother. So I thank her. I thank Stephen Ross for investing in our team and building up an atmosphere and renovating our stadium in a way that we can be proud of, that we can host big events, not just Super Bowls, but Clasico, soccer games, concerts that millions of people want to watch and would love to go to. Packed house concerts, right? F1 racing, we're internationally known now, right? Even on even with the tennis, open tennis courts we have, all of that brings attention to Miami. I thank you, Stephen Ross, for investing not just in our team, but also around the stadium and a lot of the things that brought to us, right? I thank Chris Greer, and we talked about this on El Cap show on Tuesday. I thank Chris Greer for all of the drafts that he did hit on, draft picks that he did hit, right? I think the number was thrown around that out of 12 draft picks, he's hit on 11 of them or something to that effect, right? Without Chris Greer drafting, we wouldn't have Tua. We wouldn't have Jalen Waddle, Jalen Phillips. We wouldn't have Chop Robinson, or, even if you want to look at outside of the first round, we wouldn't have Achan or some of the other players that we have gotten over the years. Right? Think of all those players that we've hit over the years. It's because of Chris Greer. Even the free agency, some of the players we brought in free agency, or even the crazy trades that he does, right? Think about it. Some of these players wouldn't be drafted if it wasn't for some of the trades that he made. Tyreek Hill wouldn't be here because if he didn't make that deal. To give you an example, think if Jalen Ramsey wouldn't be here if the deal wasn't made. So thank you, Chris Greer. Thank you to all the Dolphin fans. I'm thankful for all of you, because without you, the game would just be boring. Have you ever gone to a Dolphins game? For all those in the audience who have not gone to a Dolphins game, you have to go. The atmosphere is electric. The fans, no matter what's going on, they find something to cheer about, laugh about, yell about. I go to games every Sunday, right? I go to a game, as long as there's a home game, obviously. I'm a season ticket holder. And Dolphin fans, ultimately, they become your family. I get to sit around the same people all the time. And these are random people. They come shake my hand and say, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" And we have conversations. And I've gotten to know some of these people and become friends with them. Right? I don't think I've ever been to a Dolphins game where I had Dolphin fans fighting Dolphin fans and beating each other up. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but not to me. It's never happened. I've never seen that. All I'm saying is that I'm thankful for all the Dolphin fans, as it's something that it's very special to go to a game where it's dominant Dolphin fans and seeing us cheer together, yell together, scream at the top of our lungs together. I'm thankful to everybody here at TFTG. I'm thankful for El Cap, because he took a chance on me. He took a chance on me and allowed me to have this platform and have my own show. I'll never forget that. Right? El Cap has been there, supported me, said, "Hey man, whatever you want to do, here's the keys, have fun." I'll never forget that. And I thank him for that. I'm thankful for Mike on the mic. Now, Mike on the mic hasn't been here in a while. But without Mike on the mic, I'd never know who TFTG was. I would have never stumbled upon the show where El Cap was going on, late at night. I wouldn't know any of you if it wasn't for Mike on the mic. Mike on the mic, really, he's the one that inspired me to do this. Watching his show and stuff like that, I really wanted to, dabble in a platform like this with something I love. And the Dolphins, I love more than pretty much everything except my kids and my family, obviously, or God. I think Color was my co-host right off the get-go. Color believed in me too before I even joined. He asked me, "Is this something that inspires you?" Without Color, I wouldn't have learned the ropes of having a show, to be honest. I love also the fact that Color always keeps me on my toes when it comes to stats. He always says, "You know what? One thing that doesn't lie is the stats." So we go in, we review the stats, and I've learned about how to look at them and ways to look at them because of him. I've also enjoyed and thankful for all the educational moments that I've had with Color. If you get to know him personally, the man is a human encyclopedia. Definitely talk to him one day and he can tell you all about it. Who else we got out here? Lewis. All right, Lewis. Lewis is my day one thankful person, and let me explain that. When I decided to have a show and had got to be a part of the community and started putting content out there and dabbling in Twitter and stuff and going the route that's taken, Lewis was the first person in the community to message me on Twitter and said, Ali, I love what you do and I appreciate what you're doing for this community. And at that moment, I had the confidence that I needed to do this. So I thank Lewis. I will always thank Lewis. And even though me and him may not see eye to eye all the time, but most of the time I do see eye to eye with him. If it was me, if there was ever a line drawn and I had to fight anybody for, to protect Lewis, I would do it. I would go to war with Lewis. I would do it. He doesn't need me to do it, obviously, but there's a man I wanted next to me when we were going to war for something, it would be Lewis. All right. Who else? Shake Money. Shake Money, I'm thankful for you because even in the weirdest moments, you find a way to laugh about it. You find a way to create humor out of it. It could be like the worst thing ever, and you find some joke or something funny to say about it. And I love that about you. Don't ever change. What else? Who else am I missing? Crypto, man. I'm thankful for you because I never thought I could raise my voice as high as you can. And I still can't. Oh, I'm kidding. No, I love you, man. Crypto, you're the man. I really do miss some of the moments when we're in a heated exchange and you're yelling. I honestly, if you were a lawyer, I would have you as my lawyer because I don't think anybody would be changing your mind. And even when you're wrong, you argue to the end. I love it. Don't ever change, man. Don't ever change. Who else am I missing here? Tonk. Well, Tonk, thank you very much. Thank you for all of the information that you've provided on TMI Tuesdays. And what I mean by that, about different products that you promote that don't have plastic in them or safe for the environment, or just talking about things that you can do for the environment that is helpful. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, all of that. I also love, and ultimately this is why I'm thankful, I love what your show is about. We get to talk about more than just the Miami Dolphins. We talk about different subjects in sports and outside of sports and why they're quirky and, give our opinions. I love your show. And I'm thankful that you are there, and thank you. You're a great person. And I really mean that. Who else am I thankful for? Oh, you guys. That's right. I'm thankful for everybody that's part of the TFTG community, all the members, all the fans, everybody. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell if you're new, right? But without you guys, none of us at TFTG would be here. Nobody. Not El Cap, not myself, not Mike and the Mic, Tonk, Color, Crypto, Lewis, Shake. Nobody. And Mr. Polk. Yeah, Mr. Polk. I almost forgot about you. You know what I mean? None of us would be here. It wasn't for you guys. So make sure that you hit like and subscribe. Put in some comments. Put it in the chat. If you're on the Twitch side, go ahead and come on over, and join the chat. Join the conversation. I'm not dropping the link for Thanksgiving. No. But check us out on the weekends, and also on Fridays and Wednesdays. We usually drop the link. So definitely check us out then. But if you're just joining, this is our Thanksgiving special. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to all the members. Shout out to everybody. Make sure you hit like and subscribe if you're new. Turn on the notification bell. And let's get started. This is Top of the Tailgate. And what's Top of the Tailgate? If we don't have a coffee review. What's in your coffee? So today I am reviewing Folgers Classic Roast. That is right. Folgers Coffee Classic Roast. If you didn't know, Folgers has been around technically since the 1850s, right? James A. Folger and his two brothers traveled to San Francisco from Nantucket after a fire destroys their family's livelihood. While his brothers hit the gold mines, 14-year-old James gets a job with William H. Bovey's Pioneer Steam Coffee and Spice Mills. Their logo featured a gold miner standing beside a Sierra stream. As years went by, James is a full partner of the company and begins purchasing his other partner's shares, and eventually buys out all of the other partners and renames the company J.A. Folgers & Co. As history went on, in the 1900s, the company branches into a market as a salesman. Frank P. Atha convinces grocers in eastern states to stock Folgers coffee. He often hands out coffee samples. Now, even through the mid-1900s, did you know in 1949, Folgers actually was promoting iced coffee? You know, that's a big thing now, right? We talk about iced coffee, and I'm not the biggest fan of iced coffee, but it's huge, especially around here. I can't tell you, people around here buy iced coffee like it's water, right? They know their coffee is so good that they were saying that enjoy an iced coffee back in the 1950s, even before it was a huge thing. But anyways, Folgers has become one of the top brands of America. And it's actually made here, actually not here, but made in New Orleans. That's where their coffee is roasted. Very interesting. I didn't know that. But anyway, on to my coffee review. This is the classic roast. It's a medium roast. It has great aroma. So if you're looking for that classic coffee aroma that you normally get, you know, when you're brewing coffee, Folgers is the way to go. I think their smell of their coffee is very refreshing. When you wake up in the morning, it smells really good. It's not too earthy. It has a lot of rich taste. But yeah, I like the classic roast. I brew mine a little bit bolder than some. I put 2 tablespoons of creamer, and that's it. That's all I put in my coffee. It's pretty good. So check out Folgers Classic Roast. You can pretty much get it anywhere, any grocery store for the most part. I get mine at Publix or Walmart, so definitely check them out. Here's another favorite segment we haven't done in ages, right? What cause fits your cleats? Or cause for cleats, or my cause, my cleats, as it's called now, since they've changed the name a few times. Today's cause that we're going to shout out to, and before I say this, if you're new to Top of the Tailgate, Top of the Tailgate does not get any bonuses or extra, kickbacks or anything like that by speaking about the causes that we talk about. All we're doing is shouting out the cause, and it's random. We pick a different one every time. If you have one that you want us to shout out to, put it in the comments. Right, where we can see it, not the chat, but the comments on YouTube, and when we review it, we'll try to give them a shout out. But this cause that we're talking about just brings some more humanity to what we do and what we talk about here on this channel. Right, we're just trying to bring awareness of these causes and what they provide. If you know somebody that can take advantage, by all means, share the information with them. Right. Or if you're looking to donate to a cause, maybe this is a cause you believe in and you want to donate and help out. All we're doing is just sharing the information. So today's cause is the Lupus Foundation of America. We are the mission to end the brutal impact of lupus. At the Lupus Foundation of America, LFA, we work to greatly accelerate lupus research and push scientific boundaries to improve life now for people living with lupus. Their mission at LFA, their mission is to improve the quality of life for all people affected by lupus through programs of research, education, support, and advocacy. They are focused on achieving the following disease-specific outcomes: reduce time to diagnosis, so reduce the time it takes to diagnose you; ensure people with lupus have an arsenal of safe and effective treatments; and expand direct services and increase access to treatment and care. They have led the fight against lupus for over 40 years. Their impact includes 400 plus funded research studies and fellowships to find cures. 6 million people who count on them every year for answers, support, and hope. Federal funds stimulated for lupus research and education have reached over $550 million. Definitely check out the Lupus Foundation of America. You can go to lupus.org. That's LUPUS.org. There you can donate, do research if you need to research their cause more, or see how you can volunteer or get involved. Or maybe there's services that you need. Maybe you know somebody with lupus that needs this information. Please share it with them. Again, check out lupus.org. And again, as I said before, if you are looking for us to shout out a certain cause of yours, please put it in the comments in YouTube, not the chat, because we won't get to see the chat after this plays out or airs out. Make sure that you put it in the comments. So, again, hit like and subscribe. That's our what cause fits your cleats. So that's one we shout out. Now on to the next segment, and this is everybody's favorite. What in the world, right? We've missed that for quite a while. What in the world? And we got some what in the world, so let me tell you. Let me bring this here. Okay. So right off the get-go, and pardon my French, but this is F Michigan week. If you don't know, pretty much the biggest rivalry in college football, in all of football, really, if you really think about it, takes place this weekend on Saturday. Ohio State versus Michigan. People don't know the history about Ohio State and Michigan. Michigan and Ohio have been at odds for several years. I want to say it dates back to like the 1800s. They actually fought over land almost. They almost had like a little war over a piece of land called Toledo way back in the day. So there's always been this rivalry between the states. And if you don't know, Ohio State fans hate Michigan fans and Michigan. Michigan fans hate Ohio State fans. Always talking smack, always the biggest game. It doesn't really matter if Ohio State or Michigan wins the national championship as long as they get the win over their adversary. That's how they look at it. And that's how I look at it. I'm an Ohio State fan. I don't care. I don't care what happens during the season. We beat Michigan. We won the season. I'm good. That's how I look at it. And I know some of you are saying, Ohio State's going to lose. They already lost to Michigan 3 times in a row, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, what happened to the 8 games prior to that? We beat them 8 years straight. You know? So that's something to think about. But why I brought this up is what in the world, right? Brutus statue. This is the mascot statue of Ohio State, which is right outside the stadium, was vandalized near the Ohio State campus, right? This is the second year in a row that someone has vandalized this statue. Now, there's some speculation on who it was. Some people are stating that it was the Indiana fans after Indiana just lost to Ohio State at their stadium. But I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't believe it's Indiana. If you know Indiana or Indiana fans, they're usually good people. They're pretty nice. I've never met Indiana fans that are kind of quirky and wild like that or wired like that. I'm going to go ahead and say I think it's the Michigan fans. The Michigan fans that I know would do something like this. This is straight up like their alley, right? They're really trying to gun for us already. Unbelievable. It's a shame that you go and destroy property like that. I don't see Ohio State going up there and, destroying Michigan property, even though we should. If I'm an Ohio State fan, I live in Ohio. If I lived in Ohio at this point, I would implore everybody to go up there and TP that stadium that's known as the Toilet Bowl, in my opinion. Oh, unbelievable. What in the world? Let's take a trip down the AFC East. Now, we know that team up north, the Jets, that every year they think it's hype. It's going to be the year they win the Super Bowl, only for it to implode. Well, we're right on it right now. The Jets have already started looking for a new general manager. And what did they do? The Jets are hiring former GM Mike Tannenbaum and Rick Spielman to help with their search for a new GM. So the GM that was trash in the first place, right? They're rehiring him to find a GM? I'm sorry, this is just smells for disaster. I honestly think it's just going to be the same old story. Year after year, hype, but they're still trash. They're never going to get anywhere. There'll be another 100 years before you ever see a Jet or Jets game. The Jets playing for a Super Bowl. Crazy stuff. I don't know if Rodgers came out and said that the first pick team that he wants to play for is the Jets. I think he's just saying that to keep face. We'll see if that is really his first option. I won't be surprised if he takes a job somewhere else, though. I really won't be surprised, to be honest. Oh, this was a crazy one. I never expected to hear this. Adam Schefter, in a podcast, a sportsbook podcast, admitted that he once broke story, right, while having sex. Yes, you heard it. Adam Schefter has broken stories while having sex. He admitted it. In fact, he even said verbatim that not only did he get the story out, but he got the job done. Well, Adam, well done. I'm very glad that you got the job done. Unbelievable. Oh, some crazy stuff. I see I got color in the back. Color is probably going to come up here shortly. This one's for him, though. So the next story, if you didn't know, Color broke a story that Dan Marino, yes, the legend Dan the Man Marino, had some big-ass man tits, right? We even have a photo flying around somewhere, which I was trying to find for this, but I couldn't find it. That shows that Dan Marino had some big pecs. I mean, some big ones, right? And it's not us trying to hate on Dan Marino. We love the man. The guy was the legend. The guy is a Hall of Famer. The guy could throw it like no other. Had probably pretty much the strongest arm. It was like a cannon, right? I think it's funny. We just think it's funny. It's something to bring light. We laugh at it. You know what I mean? The guy is the legend in his own right. But I think certain people in this league have really tried to beat Dan Marino having the biggest hits. We'll start off with this guy. Holy shit. It's Bill Belichick. And I'm not going to lie. He's wearing a big pair of tits there. Holy crap. Those are some big man tits. Unbelievable. I want to say that's an A cup, maybe not even an A cup. I want to say that's like almost a C cup color. Color might be too busy to come up. He looks like he's going to come up here in a moment. But holy crap. I wonder who he's competing with. Was it Bill Parcells? Color, welcome to the show.
What's up, man? I heard you. I hear it's only coach hour, huh?
Yeah, I guess it's only coach hour. But let me go back to this. Look at this. Bill Belichick. What do you want to say? That's a C cup, maybe?
Wow, I don't know. That might be full transition right there, bro. I don't know.
Damn, God, I wasn't even going there, but holy crap. I mean, he had a big pair, but look at this. Bill Parcells, though. Holy shit, the legend Bill Parcells, the predecessor before Belichick, right? Look at this.
Wow.
I mean, somebody needs to tell Bill that he might have to wear a sports bra. Just going to point that out. Right? But you know who had the biggest mall, though?
Looks like he ain't ever going to be stranded on the side of the road either.
You know who's really going through transition, though? This guy. And this guy is a Hall of Fame in pop culture. The Huff. Holy shit, man.
Yeah. Oh, Hasselhoff.
Yeah, Hasselhoff.
Germans ought to really like him now.
I know this is Thanksgiving and this is the family hour, but you just got to laugh a little. Unbelievable.
Well, I mean, if you can't, when else can you talk about breast but on Thanksgiving?
That's true. That turkey breast is looking really good right now. So, Color, you may have missed it. I started a little bit earlier. I reviewed Folgers coffee.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're proper top of the tailgate. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. So I'll go back to it.
I'm thankful it's back.
I'm very thankful. Yes, definitely. And if you get a chance, watch the show from the beginning. I did a whole thing where I thanked each individual person part of TFTG. So check that out.
I appreciate that. And I also want to thank all of those because I still have it going on, but I don't promote it very much anymore. The Buy Me a Coffee site, for those of you that had contributed over the since we've been around to my coffee, and those of you that have decided to use the Buy Me a Coffee link for Color, I have in fact used the funds that you guys were generously donated to purchase myself a new Keurig. So I am healthy now. I don't have a bacteria-ridden Keurig anymore. It's nice and fresh. It is somewhat aqua-colored, I guess you could call it that. Yeah, and it's brewing fantastic coffee now.
That's awesome, Color. Actually, side note, maybe after the show, share with me the link to that coffee maker that you got, because I need a new one. I really do. Mine's starting to have the fritz.
Oh, yeah. It was $50 at Walmart.
That's actually a pretty good deal. So I'm going to definitely check that out.
It's like the cheapest Keurig you can get. Yeah, four cup size settings.
Very
that's all you really need. You know what I mean?
So real quick, in regards to Folgers coffee, this classic roast, it's a medium roast. It has really good aroma that I like. And it has that, doesn't have that bitter, earthy taste. It has good flavor to it. Some things about Folgers I didn't know. They actually roast their coffee beans in New Orleans, which I didn't know.
I didn't know that either.
So that's really cool. So it's like American, made coffee. American company, obviously. I do not know where they get their beans. I have to find that out. But one thing that was really interesting, their history dates back to the mid 1800s, like 1850.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1949, they were advertising their coffee is so good you could put it to make an iced coffee out of it. And that's even before iced coffee craze has started, because, that's something more recent, that iced coffee is like everywhere now, cold brew everywhere, right? They were advertising it in the 1950s. They were ahead of everybody. You know what I mean? So I found that kind of funny, so I had to share it with everyone.
Right on.
Yep. All right, Color, before we move on to time for some football, is there anything you want to say about Thanksgiving or what you're thinking?
Not really. Just other than thankful to be alive and keep them going,
Gotcha. What are your plans for Thanksgiving? Are you doing anything? Are you going to see family?
Yeah, we actually have, Mom and I have reservations for one of the local diners for Thanksgiving dinner at noon on Thanksgiving. Neither one of us really have much family left but each other that, really cares to be around. So, we figure instead of cooking and all that, since we got a nice game on Thanksgiving night, we would just, have a nice dinner, have somebody else cook for us, and go have a turkey dinner at, we don't get paid for this promotion, but I'll go ahead and tell you, local, if you're in the South Florida, West Palm Beach area, Newport Cafe, privately owned and operated by the chef. And matter of fact, yes, Newport sounds like it might be owned by a bunch of New Englanders, and it was formerly owned by New Englanders and is a haven for New England fans. Yes, unfortunately. But the new owner / chef is a Haitian South Floridian. So there's not a whole bunch of New England paraphernalia all around. You know what I mean?
I gotcha. That's pretty interesting. I'll have to check that.
And he's a much better cook than the people they had there before. So
sounds awesome. I wanted to say, in regards to you having dinner with your mom and everything, it doesn't matter where you have Thanksgiving. You don't need to cook at home and have this big elaborate, dinner with everybody and their mom there. It's up to you how you celebrate it. It's just being thankful for what you got and just sharing it with people that you know. And if you have your mom there with you, then you have your mom. Great.
Yeah, we've gone to we've done Japanese restaurants recently.
Yeah, I didn't know you like Japanese food. You like hibachi, or are you more of a sushi?
Love it. No, I'm into the hibachi, man. I love that. Cook it right in front of me. I found a place in Flagstaff at the base of a pretty nice hotel. And they actually they'll do you a couple different other spices too. They won't just do their standard whatever. They're you could get them to throw some sriracha in it. You know what I mean? All kinds of, oh man, best I've ever had.
Interesting. If you're ever in town, or if I ever get a chance, there's a Japanese restaurant here in Port St. Lucie called Hokkaido that I recommend. It's way better than what's the big one called Benihana's that everybody goes to. In my opinion, way better food, way more of an authentic and better show, personally. And I honestly think you get more food for your money too. So definitely remind me. I'll take you there sometime. We'll have a whole meal. It's pretty good stuff. But yeah, speaking of Thanksgiving food, that's actually a good subject to bring up. So my family, we're going over to my in-laws, and instead of just the in-laws cooking everything, everybody is responsible for bringing a portion of the menu. I'm bringing, we're bringing 5 cheese mac and cheese. Yes, we're using 5 cheeses in it. And I'll tell you what the cheeses are for the most part. It's Gouda cheese, provolone, sharp cheddar, white sharp cheddar, and Kobe Jack. I think those are the 5. And so I'm excited for that. But my specialty every year, I make a cranberry apple and sausage stuffing. So that's what I'm making. So it's really good. I'll probably share, maybe I can share it on the website, what the ingredients are. and how to make it. It's really easy, but everyone tells me that it's their favorite thing, so they demand I make it every year. So
Interesting.
yeah, definitely. If we ever got to have a Thanksgiving game at home, right? I honestly would love to do a Thanksgiving potluck at the tailgate. Wouldn't that be awesome, to be honest? I think it would be kind of cool.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, everyone brings something and we have like a Thanksgiving dinner. We can get a couple long tables and chairs and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It would be pretty dope. It'd be pretty dope. And then if we want to be really crazy, we could do fried turkey right there in the parking lot too. That would be really awesome. We won't burn ourselves, I promise. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, everybody. Make sure you hit likes, get the likes up. What else? Let's see. What else? I was just thinking about anything else for Thanksgiving I got going on. So I'm excited for the game. We'll definitely get into more of the predictions a little bit later in the show. But I'm really excited. I think that we definitely have a chance. We already have the momentum and the hot streak kind of going for us. I think keys to winning the game, though, is going to be stopping the run of the Packers. A lot of people are saying, well, we got Jordan Love to worry about. Yeah, but if we stop the run, like you said on El Cap Show on Tuesday, we can allow our secondary to do what they do. You know what I mean? So that's why I kind of would like. I think that's like the keys for me. What do you think, Color?
Yeah, definitely.
You agree that's the keys to the game?
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to pass the ball.
Yeah, definitely.
Cold. I mean, it's just cold.
Yeah, it's not like it's a fog game where you can't see where you're throwing. You know what I mean? And it's not like there's going to be massive wind. I think you checked the temperature and the weather report. There's not going to be like high winds, are there? Or is it going to be windy?
Fairly steady 12 to 14 miles an hour. With which would put the real feel at about 3 degrees. With wind gusts up to the 20s. But no precipitation predicted.
Gotcha.
Less than a 5% chance of any precipitation.
Very, very interesting. All right. Let's go on to the next segment, Color. It's time for some football, right? So let's talk about some football for everybody. First off, I want to go over, let me bring this up. Dolphins make moves on Tuesday with activating Win, right? And we released Lester Cotton, surprisingly. And Lester Cotton's already found a new home, Color. Did you hear about that? Lester,
no, I didn't.
He went, he decided to go up north to the team that we just beat and join the New England Patriots. So that's very interesting for him. Another interesting thing that we have is we also brought in a new long snapper. That one was kind of interesting. Let me find his name though. Just give me a second. Dolphins made a swap of long snappers with Tucker Addington out of the practice squad. Elevations after playing the past 3 games, he was released and replaced on the practice squad by Zach Triner, Triner. He's a 6-year NFL veteran. Trainer has appeared in 61 NFL games.
Trinier?
I don't know. I'm just going to say
Trinier. Sounds like Trinier.
Yeah, probably.
Like Perrier, but Perrier, so it'd be Trinier.
So the move means the Dolphins aren't ready yet.
Twinyell. It's Twinyell, Ali.
Twinya.
Twinyell.
Maybe. So it's interesting. The move means the Dolphins aren't ready to activate Blake Ferguson off the reserve non-football illness
Like,
list.
whenever you're trying to pronounce a French word, you just like subtract 3 letters and add 3 others.
That's true. My niece's name is Margot, and it's spelled not like the regular Margot.
Let me guess. Let me take a guess.
Go ahead.
Margeu something or other.
X. Correct.
Oh, X? Really? Wow. Yeah. I was gonna say like EUGT or something. Margot.
Nah. No. But going back to football, you got me off my train of thought now. So interesting enough, it looks like they're not ready to bring Blake Ferguson back yet. So that's very interesting. I don't know what's going on there. But with Wynn coming back, that puts my faith in the guard position a lot better, because now you still have Eichenberg, we got Robert Jones, and we have Wynn. So we have a good backup in case one of those two guys go down. Right?
Speaking of Eichenberg, Ali, sidebar. I was watching the Jets game from Black Friday last year, right? The one where we beat them like 34-13.
Where Javon Holland ran it like 100-yard interception pick six.
Probably Tim Boyle was the quarterback. It was the first meeting in New York, right?
Yeah.
And I noticed after the very first play of the game, okay, not the very first play of the game because they got the ball first. Mm-hmm. Our very first play from scrimmage that day, we ran the ball to Mostert, who got stopped for like a 2-yard loss, right? Mm-hmm. But there was a personal foul on the play. Very first play from scrimmage for us on them. And it gave us a first down, took us up to the 26-yard line for a first down. They showed the replay of the personal foul happening, and guess what it was?
What was it?
Somebody face butting Liam Eichenberg. Happened a couple games ago when he did the flop.
Yeah.
But he's got some practice with getting ready for the flop. You know what I mean? He's been face butted a few times.
Actually, I want to say that I've seen him do that in a few games now. It's not just
he didn't flop on that one, but I'm thinking that was the day he probably realized, I should teach myself how to flop when this happens.
Yeah. I was watching. Somebody was showing an old Packer game, right? It was Packers versus Lions. And there was some clip of there was a Lions player that was injured on the field, and the doctor or some coach comes out to check on the player, and the defender from the Packers shoves just purposely came up behind the guy and shoves him in the back.
Nobody, right?
Yeah. And
get out the way, you're not important. It's like, I'm the doctor.
Yeah, the doctor turned around and went to go stand his ground and be like, what the hell, And then it shows a clip of LaFleur yelling at him, are you fucking kidding me? Or something like that. You know what I mean? And then the player, I guess, got ejected or something. There's some clip. And it just, stuff like that is crazy, the stuff that they do. It's like the mind games. But Eichenberg, he's figured it out how to get under people's skin to the point where.
Well, I'm just wondering how many other times we didn't notice it, that this guy has kept the ball kept chains moving for us by a personal foul like that. You know what I mean?
I think that's something we should research, Color, to be honest, because then
you know what? Hey, if Batman is causing everybody in the league to disrespect Eichenberg like that, keep crapping on him, Batman. Keep insulting Eichenberg. It's working because the rest of the league thinks he's some goofball that'll take it, and we're getting flags for it. So keep it going.
I'll take the flags all day long. Speaking of Batman, shout out to Batman. Thank you for bringing him up. You just reminded me. He was at the game on Sunday. So shout out to Batman.
I saw him not last week. Obviously, I wasn't there, but the week before that. Yep.
Yeah, he was at the game, and It was really nice to see him he was walking. He still
Yeah, the vocal cord that they put in his Achilles heel is healing really well.
Yeah, is that what they actually use?
No, but
Oh, okay.
he hadn't been talking and he ain't been doing spaces and all that. Is because he's on IR for the Achilles heel. And I'm thinking, what did they do? Some a state of the art procedure where they used your vocal cords for your Achilles tendon?
No. But shout out to Batman. He's I'm glad that he's doing all right. I'll tell you, Achilles injury, it sounds painful. Even him describing what happened, it happened during a basketball game with the kids.
Like he got one of the baton ones.
Volleyball. He was playing volleyball.
Right. But it was like a baton, like he felt it pop and all that.
Yeah, he felt it pop and everything. And I was just like, that sounds so painful. Ugh, I feel bad.
It'd be just like a guitar string popping, man.
Yeah, now I know what Jalen Phillips and Aaron Rodgers went through. Oh my God. But yeah, so we got Isaiah Wynn back, right? So that's great news. It's going to be really interesting. You know, is he eventually going to become a starter? Does he take over for Eichenberg or does he take over for Robert Jones? I'm not going to lie.
Eichenberg afraid to rock the boat, man.
Here's the thing. And I know people are going to come jump down our throats when we say this, but you know, one thing I gave credit to you and I was thankful to you is that you kind of taught me how to look at stats, right? And one thing is for sure that we both can agree that stats don't lie, right? And one thing, if you look at the performance of the offensive line and you look at the pressure rate that Tua is receiving, it's been very consistently low. You know what I mean? As bad as we think our offensive line is, they're actually performing, you know? So that being said,
well, quickly on that,
good.
Couple the 12.9% pressure rate, which is lower than 32nd in the league. The win rate numbers are starting to correlate with that. So, for instance, we're now 14th ranked in pass block win rate. So it's not as if one is an outlier. They're correlating now.
Yes, definitely. They're definitely correlating. But what I was trying to say in regards to Eichenberg or Robert Jones, they've done a pretty decent job. It's scary to pull one of them and be worried that you're going to rock the boat. You know what I mean? So it'll be really interesting to find out, like, do they just keep him as the backup for the rest of the year and only put him in when they need it? Or are they going to transition him into the starter? Because Isaiah Wynn was our starter at right guard or left guard at one point, and we all thought he was going to be one of the starters before the season.
Well, Ali, what's the biggest thing that everybody preaches for an offensive line?
I don't know, what do they preach?
Continuity. And so I don't know, man. I'm kind of worried about rocking the boat, to be honest with you, man. And, you know, you haven't needed him thus far. We've been winning.
Yeah,
and great.
Are too important to do that right now. You know what I mean?
You're talking about a brutal, cold game. You know, the guy ain't played a down.
So my understanding is we got to finish 6-1 to have a prayer that we're going to make the playoffs, right?
That's 5-1 now, but yeah.
5-1 now? Okay.
6-0 or 5-1, yep.
Okay. So the last game I want to say is against the Jets. If it comes down to it, we beat everybody and we come down to that last game. That's a game I'm okay with you doing it because that's a game it doesn't matter.
I don't even mind bringing him back sooner. If you're talking about just not in the conditions we're about to face when we want to keep what we've been doing going to be able to have a chance against a team like Green Bay. You know what I mean? Look, if we get through this game, who do we have next? The Jets?
Yeah, we have the Jets.
Right.
Jets game.
I mean,
first one. Next.
At home, you know, if we're getting Wynn back in there in those conditions and, oh, my God, things fall apart in the first and second quarter, it's not going to kill our game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're talking about a guy that hasn't taken a snap coming into 3-degree weather in a must win. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got
they're all must wins, but you must win in this type of game means must win every quarter. You know what I mean? We can lose a quarter against the Jets and still win the game.
That's true. The Packers, I can't see us trying to put them in there.
Although on that note, we haven't lost a quarter in how many has it been now?
The last 8 quarters of anything.
Well, starting since what? That's the first game we won when Tua got back. Rams?
Yeah.
Did we lead the whole game that game?
I don't think so. Hold on one second. I'll tell you in a second.
Because to me, it was right around the third quarter against the Rams. Midway through the third quarter.
No, we lost the second quarter. Because we only scored 3. They
but were we leading the game?
Oh yeah, we led
the whole time. Right. So ever since we started winning, so that's 4, 8, 12 quarters straight now we've been leading.
Okay. I see what you mean.
You know what I mean? We've been ahead in the ball game for 12 straight quarters now.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to, that is critical to even having a chance to win this game Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are talking about the cold and this and that and the other and prime time and the stage. But let's not forget Lambeau Field in prime time. That's one of the hardest freaking fan bases to go against in the league, man.
Yeah, the Packers is the Packers is like the OG NFL, right? They've been there for
Lambeau.
The original, the trophy is named after that. The Lambeau.
Even if the conditions were perfect, you're talking about Lambeau.
Yeah,
and this game is just as important for them as it is for us.
Yeah, definitely. You almost think about it like the way that the Packers ownership is designed. And what I mean by that is the entire city. If you're a citizen of that city, you own a part of the team, right? It drives their fan base because it means so much more to them than, let's say, the Chargers fan base, which shares the city with the Rams, and for example, you know what I mean? You have an entire city rooting for the team together, unified. That's pretty impressive.
It's
you know what I'm saying?
Loud.
Very loud.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else we got, Color. Let's see here. So that was some big news.
Doesn't mean it can't be overcome. Plenty of teams, plenty of other players have done Lambeau leaps this year in their stadium. So
this is true. This is definitely true. So
really quick, Ollie, but before you move on, I don't mean to drag it on, but
sure.
I literally just got this while I was came in a little behind schedule. Cynthia just released her game previews for the 3 games Thursday. She actually has us winning by 1, 23-22 or something like that, or 24-23.
How accurate has she been? Or
she was 10-3 last week straight up, and 7-6 against the spread.
Very interesting.
She usually does about she tells you what her numbers are each at the start of each show.
Mm-hmm.
And she usually runs 11-4, 10-3 stuff on her straight, and then she usually does 9 or 10 wins on the spread. It was a little down this week on the spread, but so was I, bro. Dude, the spread was horrible this week. Some of these teams that didn't cover, oh my god, man. Ugh, I don't even want to talk about it.
To be 100% honest, I believe the last time I checked, the Packers were only favored by 3. So
Ali,
yeah,
the other night, bro. Okay. Now this wasn't against the spread per se, but it was the over under. Did you see what happened in my parlay the other night?
yeah, dude, bro. You were.
Are you kidding me, man?
Until the very end, dude. I couldn't believe it.
Kidding me, dude.
Oh man, that was
for
crazy.
real, bro. To pull off that touchdown strike like that, bro. I'm just like for what? They were nowhere near gonna ever win that game.
Yeah, very interesting.
Now, what if their receiver would have got blown up and knocked out and injured, man? Really? Stafford, you want to pat your stats that bad? Wow, man.
Yeah. Very interesting. All right, Color. Next segment.
Honestly, they should have washed the bet, to be honest with you. But whatever. Take the wins and the losses, man. I was that close to a perfect 7-bet parlay.
Yeah. I definitely hear you. So let's keep it moving. Big news came out on Tuesday. Shaq Barrett has applied to be reinstated in the NFL and end his time in retirement. That's very interesting.
Oh wow, you don't say.
And if you remember, and this is kind of like people are kind of worried, but also kind of like wondering why now, what's going on. We don't know all the details yet. What we do know is that Drew Rosenhaus did confirm that he is applying to end his retirement. But they said it's up to the Dolphins on what they do. Well, what does that mean? Are we going to release him from his contract?
What it means on the surface is, for those that don't know, the basics, is that we still currently hold his contract. So we are in control of where he plays.
Definitely. And my understanding is like he just told the Dolphins of what he was doing on that Tuesday. So, it's all new to them. So maybe they got to figure things out.
I got kind of a different take that I haven't heard anybody mention yet. And it's a little more, a little more human, a little more business aspect of it.
Sure.
And peppered with a little bit of logic, right?
Okay, you go first and then I'll give you my take at the end. Go ahead.
The guy wanted to retire for a reason. He's down, he's depressed, whatever the reason. I'm not going to get into all that. It's his business. But it was enough that he was willing to take on the stigma of being a sellout. It was that deep, a need for him to retire. Okay. Now he wants to come back and play. I don't imagine, logically speaking, that he even contemplated or even asked or even applied to the NFL or whatever he had to do without having a conversation with the Miami Dolphins and knowing or having at least a 80% understanding of what their intentions would be if he did that. So if he knew that their intentions were, you ain't going nowhere. If you want to play, you're going to have to play here. Then he can't apply for it, come back into the league, and then not perform because he's sad about being here.
Yeah.
Right. Well, real quick, let me finish.
Sure.
If they said, "Hey, man, we know how things are. You screwed us over, but we're willing to let you pursue. And guess what? We'll release you if we have to, if it's the right team and it's a team willing to do us a under the table favor down the road." Because that does actually happen. Where you got GMs that are, cordial with each other, where it's like, look, we can't trade him because trade deadline's over. We could use his production, but if he's not wanting to play here, then we don't want a guy on the field that don't want to play here. when we're trying to make a run. That was the whole point of McDaniel saying adversity lets you know who is all about your goals. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we're not gonna want to put a sour player on the field, even in rotation or even anything like that. So if he says, look, I want to come back, Miami, what are you willing to do? And I'd rather not play for you. If Miami is being generous, then it's only because they've got a friend at another team where they're like, yo, if we release this guy and let you grab him, obviously our contract obligations are absolved, but at the same time, we still have some dead money and we did you a solid. Are you willing to do us a solid later down the road? Like, hey, if you're in a draft spot where it doesn't matter if you're 2 or 3, but we need to be number 2, you might do a trade with us instead of the other guy or whatever, because we did this. That kind of stuff does happen. And that's the take. One take I haven't heard from anybody yet is that, hey, he'll get released only if, in other words, we'll do him a favor only if one of two things. One, Chris Greer is just that generous a guy. You know what I mean? Two, if which would have to be approved by Ross, but two would be if whatever team picks him up, we got a friendly handshake behind the scenes to for them to do us a favor down the road.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's my take, right? And please know, ladies and gentlemen, this show is being pre-recorded for Thanksgiving. So if some information has come out before then, because we still have, technically, this was being recorded Tuesday and we have Wednesday still. Please note.
What are you talking about? It's a nice Thanksgiving morning here in South Florida, man. Nice, crisp, cool morning.
No, there might be some information.
The birds are chirping.
Here's my take, Color. Here's my take. My take is that a couple things could have happened. Number one, maybe at the time when he signed with us, he realized his body wasn't right yet, right? And he had to take quite a bit of time to get his mind and body right. And maybe the Dolphins suggested that he retire for now, so it didn't count against the possibilities of people that they had to have on IR. For example,
quick interjection. You're basically expanding even more on the Chris Greer is just an empathetic, generous guy theory.
a little bit,
right? Adding to it, kind of using the same framework.
Same. And then they said, if you feel like you're ready to come back, we'll hear and, we can talk about it then. Right. So now maybe he's ready to come back, and it's at a time when the Dolphins need him the most. Right. We need help at edge. Chop Robinson cannot do it by himself. Right. I don't think Agba is the same guy as he used to be. Right. And I don't know what the hell's going on with Chubbs. Is Chubbs ever coming back? Right? I don't know what's going on there.
Chubb is probably being delayed because we're actually getting some decent production right now.
Yeah.
Like you said, we don't know if it's sustainable with this Chop, you know what I mean? And Agba, and remember Calais Campbell. I have Calais for a sack this week on my parlay, so
So if it's me, I would want Shaq Barrett to stay in Miami because we can need him, and it would be Shaq Barrett and the Chop Robinson show, which is what we thought it would be in the beginning of the season, to be honest. Right? So I think that at that point, I personally think he's going to stay as a Dolphin.
And don't forget Good. Not as a superstar, but as a solid rotational guy coming in, and in the wings.
Back eventually, that is true.
Well, it's probably sooner than Chubb. That's why I bring him up.
Yeah, I gotcha. But I think Shaq Barrett's I think he's gonna end up being a Dolphin. I do not see the Dolphins trading him back to Tampa or releasing him. I just don't see what the point of that would be.
Right.
We need him.
One other thing, Ollie, on the just to wrap up the Cameron Good talk, because there's nothing really to talk about right now. One of the things that when I was excited about when I looked at his footage after we drafted him was his ability to blow up a line of scrimmage. Well, I'm really excited to see how that transforms into a 4-3 system where you've got a constant four guy front, and his ability to blow up lines of scrimmage. You know what I mean? So we might see actually in this type of system under Weaver, you may in fact actually see the what you would call the sleeper or the dark horse late round draft pick that turns out to be maybe even as good as Jalen Phillips or slightly less better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I kind of think, personally, I think that bringing Shatberg back, right, and then maybe you bring Chubb or later, a little bit later, and even Cam Good. I think that's going to infuse some refreshing.
I think ironically, Cameron Goods earned his way off the practice squad by that injury, because now they're going to be like, well, we don't want to get him injured again. He doesn't get injured when he's playing linebacker. You know what I mean?
That's true. It's going to bring some much fresh legs, some fresh bodies to the table.
He also can't give up a punt return if he's not on special teams. You know what I mean?
That's true. I think it's going to re-energize our defensive line a little bit, right? So I kind of like that idea, especially when we're going to a playoff run. This is what we're trying to do, and we're going to need everybody we can get, along the way. So there's that, and I've heard some rumors. I don't know how accurate they are. There's some rumors that, and this goes back to when Shaq Barrett first retired. If you remember, he had an interview with Kay Adams, right? And he mentioned that there's one scenario that would have him come out of retirement. And she asked some additional questions, and it kind of makes you believe that he'd go back to Tampa, right? I think he actually said he would go back to Tampa if he had the ability to. I don't think that's the case here. I think that he sees that, okay, I see what this defense can do. I see where this team is going. I know I would be needed. I would be one of the main guys, especially with Jalen Phillips out. And I think that kind of entices him to want to stay here. I've heard some rumors that he's open to staying with Miami. It's not just a ploy to get back to Tampa. That's what I've heard. I don't know.
And again,
or anything.
I'll just reiterate that logically speaking, he's not even going to start the process of appealing to the NFL if he doesn't know it's a situation that he wants. Either the Dolphins would acquiesce to releasing him, or he wants to play here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely understand.
He wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't one of those two outcomes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he would just stay retired if he knew it wasn't going to work out.
Exactly, because he's certainly not going to play for Miami if he's soured on being here. Let's be real. And the Dolphins, Coach McDaniel wouldn't let him get play time anyway if that was the situation.
Yep, completely understand that.
That's, by the way, that's one of the check marks that McDaniel has evolved into. That's why I can say that, by the way. Just had to point that out. That's one of the things McDaniel fixed or has asserted. If we get this win, Ali, I really hope we do, because it just totally, it completely, it's like tiger stripes or zebra stripes. You know what I mean? Like, or when a tiger cub or a baby zebra like knows its mother because of the pattern of the stripes. Like, they're so different. They're like a fingerprint. So they're like so different than every other tiger. And it's not that the baby cub memorizes the tiger stripes. It's like an autonomic program, like an algorithm in their brain that when that pattern locks into the pattern that they have in their brain, they automatically know it's their mother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with poses. Like I learned from the tiger guy in Arizona, that like you can interact with tigers safely because they're like any other animal. They don't have a desire to harm for no reason. Like they want to play and all that stuff too. They got, you know what I mean? They got souls. So the reason that they attack people and all suddenly half the time and like that is because because they're wild animals, they have things in their brain that are like algorithms running that trigger certain autonomic responses. And so when they see a pattern, for instance, if you were to pose your body a certain way that made you look like their prey, there is nothing they can do about it. Their body will attack you. It's totally autonomic. They don't even want to hurt you, but they have to. It's programmed. And that's what I'm saying is like in this situation, you know what I mean? You know, that's the program that's being run, dude.
Yeah, very interesting. So that being said, the Dolphins made some more moves. Actually,
I forgot why I was going there, bro, with that, but you know what I mean. That's okay.
Say that again.
I said I totally forgot what I was analogizing that to, what we were talking about, but that's okay. That's what the tryptophan does to you, bro. You know.
Oh, you had some turkey earlier, huh?
Well, I mean, it's Thanksgiving morning. You know, I had to.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, so Color, Dolphins made more moves, this time in the secondary. This one kind of surprised me a little bit, right? Because the Dolphins decided to waive veteran safety Marcus May. And they replaced him with a guy that I was preaching the choir to, that the Dolphins know something about him, even though you guys thought that it was a waste of a pick. Patrick McMorris, off the injured reserve, is back on the team now. And if you remember when we drafted him, you guys were like, who? What? And I said the only way I see Chris Weir making this move is he knows something we don't. And after further research, you find out a couple things. He showed off his real talent when he was at San Diego State. And then when he went to Cal is all about the standard fundamentals of the...
Yeah, you were mentioning that. I've been actually crediting you with that the past couple of days.
So that's something about Patrick McMorris not a lot of people know about, that at Cal, the way they teach their secondary, it's not about, you know, the flash and, you know, and sparkle.
You know who else is from Cal?
Who's from Cal? Cameron Good.
You got it.
Yes. Yeah,
oh, by the way, I just remembered what I was analogizing that to. If we wake up on Friday morning and we're 6-6, then all of the stuff we've seen plus the result is like that same kind of fingerprint to me. That's what this whole season's been about, is Mike McDaniel coming into his own as a coach, getting the certain things that we need installed so that we can compete Thursday night in the conditions that we're about to face. Not just the cold, but the crowd and all of it.
This is true. I have some more comment about this Color, this exact topic. Let's take that on after I'm done talking about Patrick McMorris. Okay.
I just didn't want anybody to think that I was a complete loon and going off on a tangent with analogies. I'm just saying that I would be so right about that, dude, that it would be like a tiger cub seeing its mother's pattern and being right about that tiger being its mother.
That's true. That's true. So essentially, why I'm excited about this is Patrick McMorris looked really good in the offseason. He looked really good in preseason. He blew up, hit the field running. You know, I think the first two games, he really had one of the highest grades at safety. And everyone's like, holy shit, this guy can play, he's everywhere, blah 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 blah. Well, it's because at Cal they teach the fundamentals. They're very solidly sounded, and disciplined there, right?
It'd be like a football technical school,
And that's why I think Cameron Good is so good. And people are probably
No
think
pun intended.
Cameron Good. He doesn't do all the sexy stuff. He just does it right. Just the way it needs to be, and it's effective, right?
Well, we're kind of glad he doesn't do the sexy stuff. That would look kind of weird on the field, but
You know what I mean by that. It's not like he's bulldozing through people. He just gets the job done. That's really what I'm saying, right?
And he's a sponge when it comes to working with Phillips and Chubb in camp on various technique to pass rushing techniques and stuff like that. That's why I kind of I feel that same way why we're seeing that Chop start to come into his own, because he's with that same group, Ali, away from the middle linebackers, where they're starting off their training every day with working on hand techniques and stuff like that, doing little walkthroughs with them as a little subgroup,
Yeah. So the big reason I bring up Patrick McMorris, I know who our safeties are, but I love to see who the next guy is and see how he can elevate himself. Because to be 100% honest, you want a guy that, that can really bring it, if in case Javon Holland or, anybody else goes down for you. You want to make sure you have the next guy coming. Now, one thing that I'm impressed with this season that we haven't really seen in previous seasons. The Dolphins are not afraid to go ahead and pull the trigger and let people go like they have in the past. And what I mean by that, in the past, we would not let go of people. We would hold on to them to the very end, right? Well, now, look at David Long Jr. David Long Jr., oh, you're not performing for us? You're not putting the work in? Bye. Next guy, right?
And now that we got to get McMorris in, we had to make a spot for him too.
Lester Cotton really not putting the work in. Bye. Even though that's really important position.
Who did we cut to open up the spot for Patrick McMorris?
Marcus May, the veteran,
missing tackles all over the place. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and that's why I'm kind of like, I like what we're doing. We're not afraid to say goodbye to these names, right? We just go ahead.
A lot of that has to do with Anthony Weaver. I mean, look where these moves are coming, all on defense. Plus, it may not even be a matter of they were sorely disappointed in David Long. It might not even be a matter of that. It might be a matter of you failed us enough that now that this guy is opened up for us. You're the guy. Sorry. It was going to be somebody else if it wasn't you, and it happens to be you. In other words, you could be a great linebacker, but if you're our weakest one and we got this guy in Seattle that just opened up available to us. Now, the question is if that's a gamble or not. Well, Weaver's obviously got a good eye because the gamble worked. Because look what happened this week with Dotson coming in relief for Walker.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is, I don't care if McMorris is a rookie, green, whatever you want to call him. If we just sent Marcus May out the door to make sure we got a spot for McMorris coming back in, I'm going to trust Weaver that Morris is going to be ready to go right out on the field this week if we had him to.
Yeah. And I think Dotson's going to look even better being this, after
having... That goes against what I said about Isaiah Wynn earlier. But in this case, Weaver's the guy making the call there, and he was dead on right about Dotson, man.
Yeah.
So Dotson was ready to come in here and play game one.
Yeah, I agree. What I was going to say is that in regards to with Weaver and some of the moves that we're making, right? It is all coming on defense. And I think this is what you do to get yourself ready for that playoff run. Now, we're talking about, we got 6 games left. I said the playoffs start this week. When we go up against the Packers, that's when the playoffs start. So each one of these games is a big game. It's a must win. There is no, oh, you can survive another loss or anything. You got to win all of them. Really, I want to go 6-0. 6-0 will guarantee us the playoff spot that we need. Right?
Do you think it's something about the way Weaver brings his messaging to the table, like just the way he, like even if he was talking to you right now about, you know, horse racing at the local Starbucks, you know, he might have to tell you, you don't, you know, something that is wrong with you, what you're doing. But, you know, the way he delivers and talks to people and delivers messages, you don't really hear, all you hear is factual objectivity and respect. You don't ever hear, you don't feel that either one is negative or positive. Like you can't feel his mood on it, which is really, really good, because if you're trying to deliver a message to somebody in a coaching situation, you want to make sure first and foremost that you're not exuding any emotions to that player, because then that's when the player can respect what you're saying to them and turn it inward to themselves. You know what I mean? And I'm just wondering if there's something that Weaver, with that way he can bring messages to people, as opposed to a guy like Fangio or Boyer or, you know, the other DCs we've had. You know what I mean? To where it's the message being here to Mike McDaniel that, look, bro, if you don't want me giving up a 61-yard field goal, you know what I mean? You got to let me get the guys I need, bro. In other words, Fangio came in saying, oh, I got to find the talent. And he never did. Well, was that because maybe McDaniel was being Mr. I'm the guy and, you know, whatever? And that's fair for McDaniel to be that way. But what I'm saying is Weaver is a different cat than Vic Fangio. When it comes to how he talks to people, how he presents himself, how he presents his messaging to you. And I can imagine him being able to tell McDaniel, look, you got to change this, that, and the other when it comes to what you're doing, what I'm doing, what our relationship is, what you're allowing me to do for our defense, blah, blah, blah. You got to change that. And he might not have said it all direct like that to him. He might have brought it in his Anthony Weaver, real respectful messaging way. And that could be a change we're seeing, where Weaver now can just pretty much free willy go, you know what? This guy out here, I love David Long Jr., which he had high praise for him and what he's done for us. It's not like he was throwing him under the bus. The fans did that, and the beat writers, not him. So he's just like, look, what we've always said about Tua, love you, Tua, but if there's an upgrade, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same there. Love you, David Long, but Dotson is the real deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I gotcha. Let me bring it to you this way. I think Weaver he's at that age that he's in between the old school and the new school players. And because of that, he can speak their language better than a Vic Fangio can.
And you know what else? As kind of socially liberal a guy I am with my language and all that, there's still something to be said for the comedian that can make you laugh without using curse words.
This is true. Let me just elaborate a little bit more of what I was talking about.
I kind of want to run through the wall for that kind of guy, where he's like, you know, this guy, he don't even use foul language, bro. Like there's very few of those people left. We got to like preserve those people. You know what I mean?
What I mean by that, Color, is the fact that Weaver has a way that he can communicate with them the way at their level, or to make sure they understand, but also have a discipline at the same time. And it's almost like a poker face, right? I can be nice and kind,
right?
You can see how tough I am at the same time. He found me to make kindness be tough.
And what speaks to discipline any more than being able to curb your language in an environment where everybody uses the F word, dude.
That's
you
true.
don't even use shit. You're out there, you're up at the podium saying shoot.
Yeah. I think
You
I've
know
heard
what I mean, bro? That, like,
than I
I
have
want
of
to run through a brick wall for that type of dude, just because there's so few of them left.
Yeah. And see, that's why I think the defense is performing, is because they have they believe in
Pure.
what he's
What
providing.
he's saying to them is pure. He's saying that they can trust that what he's saying to them has the virtue of purity.
Yeah.
That it's coming from a real place. Because look, if it wasn't, I could be just like everybody else and F this and F that and blah, blah, blah. But no, I'm trying to lead by example. I'm trying to show you how to be disciplined and how much, what's more of an example of being able to be disciplined. And the hardest thing to be disciplined is your tongue. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm sure the Bible says something to that effect. You know what I mean?
Yes, I'm sure it does.
The tongue is the, you know, what I don't know, the birthplace of all evil or whatever it is. It says something like that effect about the tongue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
committing sin, you know.
Yeah, I just find that fascinating. You know, Coach Weaver is an interesting story, and it's going to be very interesting where he goes in his career. Let's just put it that way, because
I
like,
wouldn't want him to go. It sucks that he would have to go anywhere. I know how the league works, though.
I want to keep him here as long as we
If
can.
he can't overtake McDaniel for our head coaching job, then he will get a head coaching job somewhere else. It's kind of like losing a good governor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To the presidency or the Senate. You know, you're like, no, don't go. Now we got to deal with this guy who's been waiting to beat you for 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm with you on that. Yeah. So that's really interesting. All right. Before we get into,
That's the one thing I've learned at the governor level. The long-term incumbent, if they go out, the incumbent party never wins if it's been like 12, 14 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Even if the incumbent governor was the greatest governor you've ever had, people would just assume that you're supposed to vote for the other party now that this guy's finally gone. You know what I mean?
Yep, I completely understand.
So the Republican retired, so might as well try the other guy now, you know?
I understand. So before we get into the Packers talk, I just want to go over the injury report. This is the last report that I have. It does not include Wednesday's report. We have a lot of players on the injury report.
It's okay. We'll ice them up Thursday night.
So a lot of it is probably because, and this is the thing that I kind of think it's funny they even have this for a short week. A lot of these players played on Sunday, and it's a short week, and they're going to have limited practice no matter what anyways. So it's kind of like, why do we even have this long of a list?
And don't forget that the Packers played later, and they already got beat up by that cold. It was pretty cold in their 49ers game the other night.
This is true. So first off, Teron Armstead is on the injured report. He did not practice Monday or Tuesday. I don't expect him to practice. I don't need him to practice. I just need him to perform on Sundays.
Right.
Play Sunday, so it's not a problem. Tyus Bowser, linebacker, he has a knee and calf injury. Did not practice at all. Calais Campbell, they're saying he's just resting. So that I expect. I'm okay. Calais has been in this league long enough. I don't need him to practice. I just need him to show up on Sundays.
Yep.
Personally.
Well, we know his mindset's in the right place.
Yeah, that guy has been a leader. I can't even believe this report that's going around that we considered trading him to the Rangers, bro.
I don't know if, man, I wish people would.
Good.
It's really hard to know the context, bro.
Yeah.
Because people use language so loosely now, bro. If somebody else in the league dialed Chris Greer's 7 digits and that got leaked out, that reporter, for some reason, thinks they have license to say, oh, the Dolphins were thinking about trading Calais Campbell. Well, yeah, if you asked me, I had to think about it. But I would remind you of Star Trek. You always go back to Star Trek, Ollie. Okay? Everything I learned in life, I learned from watching Star Trek, and that's the truth.
You do know that Star Trek is the most is a great example of anthropology.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
anthology.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so and this one is actually a fairly newer. I mean, newer is relative, but newer something that I learned from watching Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
And I done forgot it. Great music.
I just want something.
No, I remember now. Remember when Data in First Contact, right?
Yes.
Remember when Data got assimilated? But it was like an inverse assimilation because he's already cybernetic, and they needed to add touch and feel to him, but with flesh, right? So, in order to make him a Borg, right? So, and it looked like he was betraying the Federation and all that, and helping the Queen. Remember? And at the very end, right when he was about to supposed to pull the trigger to destroy the warp ship, he purposely mistargeted, and then caused the situation that was lethal for the Borg Queen. And she was surprised by his betrayal, and he ended up betraying her and staying loyal to Picard and allowing the warp ship to make its flight and all that. And at the end of that sequence in the movie, Picard asked him, or Data told him that for a time he was tempted by her offer. And Picard said, "How long?" And he said, 0.12 seconds, sir. And for an android, that's an eternity. So now am I supposed to say, am I going to go write a news report saying, oh, Data thought about betraying the Federation? You know what I mean? No. He thought about it for 0.12 seconds. You know what I mean? If I called you up and said, "Hey, Ali, you want to trade seats with me for the next game?" And you said, "Hold on a minute." And you got back and you said, "No." Can I go out and report to the news that Ali was thinking about trading his seat with Color?
It's an obvious yes. It's so dumb. You know what I mean? It's like
I'm saying, bro.
Oh, I had to think about it.
I'm not saying they didn't shop him. I'm just saying we don't know.
Yeah.
Just by somebody reporting that, we were thinking about it.
To be honest,
we don't know what the context of us thinking about it was.
I'll tell you what the context was. I don't think they were sure if Tua was definitely coming back yet or not.
Right.
So they probably felt out offers and had an idea of what it would look like in case they decided that's the route.
Were we not 2-6 at the trade deadline?
Yeah, we were. So.
Right. And what was our own fan base saying at the time?
Tank for Ward. Tank for
Ward. And do what else?
Let go of Tua and all that stuff.
Trade all of our assets.
Trade all of our tank. They wanted us to tank. That's what they wanted.
But the important part there is trade all of our assets.
Yeah.
So if our own fan base was thinking that, I'm not saying they don't have a right to change their mind. I'm saying if our own fan base was saying that, what do you think the rest of the GMs in the league were inferring from what was going on in Miami at the time? Don't you think it's possible that 15 of them dialed Chris Greer's 7 digits and said, "Hey, what are you doing with Calais? Have you had a talk with him?"
Mm-hmm.
And so they said, "No, let me get back to you." they went and had a talk with Calais. And whatever happened, they called back and said, no, he's good. I mean, that's maybe I'm wrong, but I could just as well imagine that happening with a lot less assumptions.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Than anything, because we've all seen Jerry Maguire, bro.
Show me the money.
You know, we've
We
all
need
seen
that meme, bro.
Moneyball. We've all
One.
seen Moneyball. You know,
Yeah, Moneyball. That's a great show. All right, and shout out to Billy Bean. May he rest in peace. By the way,
who was still the general manager of that, or the you know what I mean. They don't call him general. The general manager is the guy on the. Well, there's the manager and then the general manager. Yeah, he was the general manager of that team before, during, and after the production of that movie.
yeah. In fact, he got offered the Red Sox GM job, and they gave him like an amount that it was a killing, and he said no. Surprisingly,
right? And how many people like not only have a movie made about them while they're still alive and active in the thing that they made the movie out of,
yeah.
but how many of them also lived 10, 20 years after the movie?
This is true. This is true.
In that active role.
Yeah.
They made the movie about. I mean, that's crazy.
Usually it's after the person retires or passes away, they make the movie. They made the movie during his career.
Or at least they're retired and not doing it anymore. He was literally still their guy, you know? Like,
yep.
Jeez, man.
All right, Color. Let's continue with this.
It'd be like if they made a movie about Reagan while he was still president. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That movie was pretty good. I watched the movie. Have you watched it?
I have not yet. The Dennis Quaid one?
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's an interesting watch. There were aspects of Reagan's presidency I didn't really know too much about.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought it was a very good movie for this type of topic, you know,
Right,
when
right.
you know, an autobiography of a
The other thing, Dennis Quaid, superior actor. You know, he got special permission because the Reagan's childhood home is not federal property.
yeah.
It's still privately owned by somebody that I believe is not part of the Reagan family. And he got special permission to go tour the home and all that. So he, you know, because actors want to get a real feel for the person, you know, that they're portraying and all that, you know.
I'm not gonna lie, like Dennis Quaid did such a great job that there were times that I thought they were just having a voiceover of actual Reagan's voice with him speaking. And no,
Well,
it was him.
I haven't seen the movie, but about 2 months before it was released,
Mhm.
I saw a hour-long form interview with him about it. I forget who was doing the interview,
Mhm.
but it was a really great interview, man. And he went through in deep about not only the movie, but why he did it, how his politics evolved throughout his life, you know, because of influences like Reagan. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
great interview, man. And I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to see it, dude. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but yeah.
It's pretty good. So let's keep it moving though, because we're coming to our end here pretty shortly. So I want to make sure we get all the info out. So let's keep talking about the injury report. Jordan
You
Poyer.
must not have got the memo from Miss Finn's, bro. We don't do short shows.
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't get that memo.
We don't stay on track, bro.
I hear you. I hear you. So Kendall Fuller is still on concussion protocol, from my understanding. He didn't practice. I would really love to have him back for this game, as part of, you know, making sure that our top secondary do what they do. As I said, the keys to the game for me: stop their run, stop Josh Jacobs, right, and just disrupt their, you know, Jordan Love, and let our corners do what they do, right? That's what I want to happen. Now we got Smith is there. He could, you know, fill in for Fuller. He got some reps in, quite a bit of reps against the Patriots in. But Patriots don't really have anybody. I know the Green Bay does. They have Watson as their big receiver.
Mhm.
I want to say they have another guy that's really good too.
Romeo Dobbs, I thought he turned up on the injury report, but
Yes,
you got it.
he is on there, Color. We are going to go over his.
He's been their baller pretty much.
Yeah, he's also on concussion protocol as well.
Interesting.
So that's interesting. But let's keep talking about it. So Jordan Poyer, they decided to just rest him. So he was just resting.
Mhm.
Tuesday, he had limited practice. Anthony Walker is a big hit for me, right? Anthony Walker has a hamstring issue. I don't know if we got the info of how severe it is, but he didn't practice at all.
Well, from the horse's mouth, it was, or not himself, but from the team. The latest I heard was that it was good news in the respect that he has a chance this week. Likely won't play this week. I believe it was Beasley that reported this. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Likely won't play this week, but won't be long term.
I gotcha. So he might be back the next week. I get you.
And ever so slight chance that he could make it this week, but
I gotcha. I personally, if it was me, I wouldn't push that.
He wanted to say doubtful, but not doubtful because it's not officially listed as doubtful. You know what I mean?
I got you 100%. Alec Ingold is on the injury report as I expected. He's limited practice both days, Monday and Tuesday. I expect him to be ready. He played, against Patriots. I thought he did good. I didn't see any issues. I expect him to be ready, to go. Benito Jones, the defensive tackle, has a shoulder issue. He's limited practice both days.
Believe it or not, been giving us good tackling production. Every game.
Yeah. That actually reminded me. I was watching the Charger game, right? Harbaugh versus Harbaugh. Tier Tart was doing halfway okay at some point for the Chargers. That kind of surprised me. We weren't getting that kind of production from him. So,
you know who else had a great game in the Blizzard? The Browns they beat the Steelers.
Yeah, that was a great game, to be honest.
Had a great game in that Blizzard.
Definitely.
Non Elliott.
Definitely. Tyreek Hill is on the injury report, which he's going to be because of his wrist. He was limited practice Monday. I expect him to play, no problem. He did not practice on Tuesday, and let's actually talk about that real quick. So if you remember, I want to say it was week 1 against the Jaguars. We had the infamous incident where, he was pulled over. The police officer was very, aggressive. It pulled him out of the car, threw him on the ground. There's even video of
constitutionally aggressive, I would say.
Yeah, and he also kicked one of the guys kicked Tyreek Hill. We had actual video footage of that. He had his court appearance because they got him for I think it was reckless driving.
Reckless driving and seatbelt violation.
Well, they had him in court on Tuesday. The police officer that, did this did not show up at all. So as a result, the judge threw everything out and dismissed the case.
No witness.
Yeah. And from what I'm hearing, the Miami-Dade, what are they? Sheriff's Department, Police Department, whoever it was, Metro. I think it was Metro. They're saying it was an oversight on the police officer for not showing up.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah. So,
here's the thing, Ali.
Go ahead.
The only thing they have is body cam footage for evidence and maybe a radar gun tape. I don't know. But the only thing on the body cam footage shows them being aggressive with him, pulling him out of his car and all this. Now, if they didn't even show up to testify to the violations of the law that they erroneously think gave them the license to treat him that way, then they just basically treated him that way for absolutely no reason, and they've just admitted to that.
Yeah, I think they realized they really royally fucked up, to be honest. Oh,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Now they've fucked up even more because now they've admitted that what we see on that body cam footage has
Yeah.
no justification
None.
because they didn't testify, and they might have charged him, but they didn't testify and get a conviction on what they claim gave them the license to treat him that way. Nothing gives them the license to treat him that way. Don't get me wrong. But whatever they thought gave them the license to treat him that way, they didn't even show up in court to testify to.
Mm-hmm.
So now they just basically violated a random citizen's rights.
Yeah,
That's where we're at. That's where we stand.
definitely. I agree.
That's what the annals of history are going to record.
Yeah, that's exactly what they are gonna record. I agree with that 100%.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, to be honest. And so many people were witness to it. So many people, even players, tried to help and calm the situation down and
Are
everything.
you even sure he was speeding anymore?
They have a video.
Well,
of
they
him
didn't show up to
driving
testify to it, Ali.
But here's the thing that I don't understand, okay? And if you're a police officer, I'm talking about people in the audience. If you're part of law enforcement, maybe one day you can come up here and educate me in color on how you guys are, what you actually use to measure the speed if you're not using a radar gun, right? Because you don't see the officer holding a gun out that shows like how fast he was going. You just see Tyreek Hill driving back a little bit fast.
And it was based on how much he had to do to catch up to him.
Well, maybe that's what they use, but how do you know he was actually going that fast? I mean, I don't know.
They said 60 and a 40 as if they were clear about it, but
I don't know.
I mean, again, all we know now, because nobody showed up to testify, Ali, is nothing happened.
Yep.
I'm not even sure Tyreek Hill was driving down the road that day.
Yeah, it could have been someone else in the car.
I mean, I know I'm being facetious here, but you know what I mean?
I know. I was joking as well. I was being sarcastic.
According to how law works, you know what I mean? Like.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, Color, going back to this.
By the way, I just want to point out also. I'm sorry, I gotta interject here because this is actually a little. This is also meant to be a condolence. Because one of the things I noticed when they were dealing with Tyreek is how many motorcycle officers ended up showing up because of whatever death-defying situation they were in. I don't know, but all 6 of them had their motorbikes parked perfectly in formation next to each other, as if they had a measuring tape out to measure the space between them all lined up right there while they were all dealing with Tyreek, and all their bikes were parked on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Okay. All for nothing, turns out, because they couldn't even show up to testify. Right? Now keep that in mind. Everybody's so concerned about Tyreek doing the 60 and a 40 because it endangers people's lives that were around there. Okay, fair. A couple days ago, 3 motorcycle deputies for the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Department were mowed over and killed by a reckless driver while they were parked with their bikes on the side of the road, rendering aid to one of the officers' motorcycles. 2 of them were killed instantly on the scene. One of them just died yesterday in the hospital of his injuries.
I'm really sorry to hear
Keep that in mind, and my condolences to their families.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that in mind when these officers are perfectly aligning their motorbikes up on the side of the road, displaying them like they're trophies, while they violate the rights of one of our residents. Keep in mind what happens if somebody else comes by doing 60 and a 40 and plows into Tyreek, the motorbikes, and everybody else on the side of that road, while they can't even be bothered to show up and testify to what happened is the reason they were even on the side of the road.
Yeah.
It's laughable and it's disgusting, and it violates the memory of those 3 deputies that died up here in Palm Beach County the other day.
I'm sorry to hear that, Color, and my condolences to their families as well. All right.
Happened right down the road from Mom's house, bro, on Southern Boulevard, just west of Seminole Pratt.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
All right. So the rest of the injury report, I'm really not going to go into too much detail about these other players. Jalen Ramsey has been dealing with some knee issues. They say he limited practice both days. I think he'll play. Isaiah Wynn, he just came off the injury or pup. Julian Hill, he had full practice. Javon Holland, full practice. Robert Jones, full practice. And Patrick McMorris, he's full practice as well. He came off the IR as well. So all of that is where we're at for us. Now, here is some big ones. Jair Alexander, the corner for the Packers, I believe he's the starting corner.
Really good.
Not practice. He has a knee injury. He did not practice Monday or Tuesday. So that's big.
That'd make him a step slower.
Yeah. Another big one, Edgerrin Cooper has a hamstring issue. He did not practice at all. Romeo Doubs, that's the big one, wide receiver, concussion protocol, did not practice both days. So I don't expect him to play, just like I don't expect Fuller to play.
That's an even trade.
Yeah. So Josh Jacobs, they're saying that it's just rest, but he had limited practice Monday and Tuesday. Xavier McKinney, they're saying he had some type of personal issue, and it doesn't look like he practiced Monday or Tuesday. I don't know what that means.
Who was that again? I'm sorry.
Xavier McKinney, he's their safety.
Oh, he's a decent one too.
Yeah. Isaiah McDuffie, linebacker, he had ankle issue, did not practice at all.
That's McDuffie's kid, ain't it?
I don't know. I don't know if that's OJ's kid or not. And that seems to be all the names that I know specifically. But they have quite a few names here, but I just don't know who they are. So
I used to think my name was rare until the internet hit.
So anyway, let's talk about.
It was like my family and my uncles were the only ones that had our name in the phone book around Palm Beach County. Like my whole life, dude. And then the internet came around. I Googled my name one time, and I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe!" Not just with my same last name, but with my exact same name. I'm like, "Wow, you're kidding me!" All over the place.
I gotcha. So we got about 30 minutes left. Let's finish.
Real quick. I friended one of them on Facebook years ago, and I had to unfriend him because I got so confused as to who was posting. I'm like, who everything. I'm like, I didn't freaking post that.
That's some funny stuff.
That's so confusing. I had to unfriend him. I apologize. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, but
all right. So we got about 30 minutes left. Let's finish it up by talking about the Packer game and give some predictions and, whatever last minute things we want to say about the game. Okay. So for me, like I said before, stop the run, stop Josh Jacobs, stop Chris Brooks or any other running back they have. Let Jordan Love throw the ball and let our safeties do what they do, right? Obviously, you want to, provide some disruption in there as well. But I don't think much more than that. I think that defensively, those are the keys to the game. Offensively, keys to the game would be to establish the run, as well as hold on to the ball, right? Make your drives last longer, and, dominate the time of possession as much as you can, right? Keep the ball out of their offense, essentially. So I think those are the keys to this game. I don't expect there should be any issue with throwing the ball, like you said earlier, based on the current weather conditions that we expect and everything. I do expect it to be cold, not like the Kansas City cold game, but it will be cold, probably around 18 degrees, somewhere around there. What else can I tell you about this game? It is a must-win, ladies and gentlemen. This game, we have to win this game. This game is the first of 6 games that we have to win to get us to the playoffs. If we don't win this game, our chances to getting to the playoffs are about 16% already. They'll be even less than that. They'll be more than less than half the amount. So we go from 16 to maybe like 5% chance of making the playoffs, right? This game also sets the tone for the rest of the season. Winning a game like this changes, an entire season and creates momentum going into the playoffs, right? Imagine beating the Packers, then going and beating the Jets twice, right? You still have the Houston game, which I really believe, based on what I've seen from Houston this season, I think we can beat Houston. I really do. That was a question mark, but seeing how our defense is performing, how their defense and offense is not performing, I think we can beat them.
Key to beating Houston is Joe Mixon.
Yeah, well, Joe Mixon. Yeah, you got to stop Joe Mixon. But they've been, the last couple of weeks, they've been shooting themselves in the foot, to be honest. So I really think we have what it takes to beat them. San Francisco is the next big game, right? That game for me, and I'm going to go back to what you said about Mike McDaniel. I think that's the Mike McDaniel important game. That's the most important game this season for him alone. He needs to find a way to beat the master, if you know what I'm talking about. Him being in a Star Wars, you talked about Star Trek, I'm going to talk about Star Wars, right? So you have the Jedi Master, and then you have the Padawan. He needs to find a way to beat the master, being Kyle Shanahan.
What?
And
You mean Matt LaFleur? Oh, you're talking about San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, I was going to say Matt LaFleur is like Obi-Wan. And
no, Matt, he's not like Obi-Wan at all.
No. I'm saying if McDaniel is Luke, then LaFleur would be like Obi-Wan, or let's say LaFleur might be like Vader. You got McVay would be Obi-Wan, and Shanahan would be the Emperor.
Maybe.
Or Yoda. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Although you could say McVay's Yoda because he actually has the Super Bowl.
This is true. So I definitely agree with that. I will say that McDaniel has to win this game. He has to win it for us. He has to call the perfect game, right? And make sure he did everything he could in his power to make it happen, right? So
we have to manufacture 34 points. That's what we got to do.
Yeah. Now, there's a lot going on with the San Francisco 49ers. I believe Brock Purdy is coming back from an injury. See, they have injury issues. Some big news. Daniel Jones has stated that he has zeroed in on the team that he is wanting to sign with.
Oh,
right?
I'm so glad he thinks he has the power like that.
I guess. But it's surprising. I don't know who's driving it, him and his camp or the media.
Well, if it's his choice, it's going to be a trash team.
Well, that's not what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that there's a strong possibility he has a deal in place for the 49ers.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, so I do think they do need some backup help. So it'll be interesting. But it's not like they have to pay him anything because he's already making a killing from his last contract. They really just gotta, if they re-sign him, they could re-sign him for cheap. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I look at it. But in regards to the Packers game, I think this is going to be like a 24-17 game and Miami wins. That's what I'm going with. 24-17. So it'll be a 7-point difference. It could come down to a 3-point difference. I still have Miami winning. So even if it's a 21-24, Miami wins with the last minute field goal. I could see that happening as well. I think with all the talk about destroying narratives, specifically from your QB1 saying that we're gonna kill all the narratives and everything. I think they know that they want to play above and beyond what their ability is, and I think they're gonna take that momentum and turn it into positive energy during that game, and I think it helps them get the win. Right? We've had all these games against these top teams, and you can't beat them. I think as a team, they're sick and tired of it, and they're going to come out swinging.
Interesting.
That's what I think. Go ahead. What do you think, Color? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, keys to the game. If the Dolphins want to beat the Packers, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a few things they have to do. They have to score points, and they have to stop Green Bay from scoring points. Now, I got a parlay going on that includes some of the keys to winning this game. And I'll tell you why afterwards. But I got Calais Campbell for a sack. I got Jordan Brooks for over 9.5 combined tackles. That's tackles plus assists.
Mm-hmm.
I got the Dolphins to cover +3. I've got Jalen Ramsey for a defensive interception. I've got Jonnu Smith to record 25+ receiving yards. I've got Devon Achane to record 25+ receiving yards as well. And I've got Tua to throw for at least 2 touchdowns. If those things hit, if even 6 of those things hit, we have a really good shot of winning this game. You might ask, how do we get Jonnu Smith the ball? And how do we get Devon Achane the ball? Well, first of all, Devon Achane is going to get the ball on the ground and in the air, because that's one of the ways you mitigate a miserably cold day.
Mm-hmm.
And also, on the ground, when the Dolphins, you have strength versus strength. The Dolphins are top 5 in stopping the inside zone run, and the Packers, Josh Jacobs, like to run up the middle in the inside zone. And that's where they've had most of their success. So you got strength versus strength there. And the Packers are giving up 7.3 air yards per pass play. And so we can exploit that because we are really high in air yards, obviously. Oh, that's when the ball gets out quick. When the ball gets out in under 2.4 seconds, the Packers give up 7.3 air yards. And also, on the other token, the Dolphins are 3rd worst in the league. They give up the 3rd most amount to deep passes. The Dolphins now 5th ranked in red zone. I mean, in passing touchdowns, and 12th ranked in rushing touchdowns. So that's come down a lot. We're gonna have to force Jordan Love to beat us with his arm, and if we do that, we have a good shot. Jordan Love giving up just about an interception per game.
Mm-hmm.
We need that interception. His numbers not so good after 2.5 seconds. And these are all ways that we're going to be able to accomplish the things I have listed on my parlay. And those are the keys to winning.
Mm-hmm.
You got to score 34 points. How do you do it, you say? Well, get the ball to Jonnu Smith. Get the ball to Devon Achane. These guys have shown the ability to score twice in games. And then, of course, opening up Tyreek, exploiting the injuries in their secondary with speed. You got to be able to pass the ball. I mean, yes, we need to run it and all that because of the cold and all that stuff. I get all that. You have to demonstrate the ability to run. You have to do it, but we have to be able to attack the weaknesses of their defense, which right now are in the air. One other thing, real quick, I just want to make sure I was accurate with what I was saying a second ago, but also adding something else here. 24. So I'm sorry. Yeah. So I was mistaken. We're 6th ranked in passing touchdowns given up, and we are 12th ranked in rushing touchdowns. And in the air, net yards gained per pass attempt, we're 20th ranked. 23rd ranked in yards per attempt. But that's getting spun out. 3rd down conversion rate. We're 5th ranked. That's where the 5th ranked I was talking about came from. We are still, after starting to face better teams and some more bad ones, we're still consistently getting off the field on 3rd down. And we are 5th ranked in that department. Our offense is 10th ranked in converting 3rd downs. That's going to be a key to winning this game. Holding onto the ball, eating up the clock, tiring them out, hurting their defense with guys like Jalen Wright as well as Achane. And also our red zone percentage on offense, we're ranked 11th. And on defense, we are 7th ranked in red zone percentage. So again, if they want to run the ball, it's not the worst thing if we let them and keep and be able to time our blitzes when they pass, because if we give up a run or two, hey, we have demonstrated the ability to hold teams out of the end zone in the red zone. So those are all keys to winning this game. I think we're going to actually be able to score. I think people are way overestimating the cold. I weight the crowd as more of a factor than the cold as to whether we can put up the points. But if we can break through all that and do what we've been doing, I think that this Packers defense is, they're a little better than what we've faced recently, but we were still able to put up some points on Buffalo's defense. We were still able to put, so look, I can see us putting up 31 to 34 points on this defense if everything's, if we're getting the same kind of execution and production we've been getting out of our offense the past few weeks. The difference is the Packers are a better team than the ones we faced the past couple of weeks. So there's going to be no 15-point score on their end. But I can still see our defense, the way it's been playing and where it's ranked, being able to hold them, to our points per game average right now is 21.5. But if they overachieve, we should still be able to hold them to 24, 27 points. So I'm thinking we could actually get this win here 31-27, 34-27, depending on how much we overachieve on offense.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that 100%. I think that, very similar to the Ravens, the Packers set up their passing game with their run. They have a very strong running game. We need to stop that.
Remember, even with the Lambeau crowd and the cold and all that, we're only +3 underdogs. That means it's even. It means it's a pick'em. And what I'm saying is, maybe I'm being a little unfair with 34-27. That's a 7-point game. But 31-27, 31-24, if it's 7 points, that's still covering the 3 points. I can see, if we were you know, if we were +1 in their house, then I can see us winning by 7. But I'll dial that back a little bit, say 31-27.
So 31-27 is your guesstimate. That's what you think is going to happen.
If things go the way we want them to, yeah, I think we have the ability to do that if we execute. I think we are that score reflects how much what I think these two teams are in comparison with each other.
I gotcha.
So both teams have to execute, and if that were to happen, I think the outcome would be 31-27 Miami. All other things considered too. If we were in Hard Rock, maybe I'd give us a little more points.
All right.
Our defense is on fire, dude. And I'm hoping it's enough to warm that sideline, bro. You know what I mean?
It's been a long time coming that we've seen our defense,
Well, think about this, Ollie. When we talk about how the Chiefs overcame the cold and all that last year in the playoff game, do you think it's easier or harder for a team to overcome the cold for themselves on offense if they're playing a defense that's decimated on injuries or one that's coming in as hot as we are right now? Jordan Love should have a miserable day. Their offense should have a miserable day. We should make them have to hurt for every single blade of grass they take Thursday night. If we go in with that mentality, we could actually get a blowout. We could stymie them so much that they're starting to question whether they can even score.
Yeah, I understand. I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout, but I do think
Me neither. I'm just saying.
I think
our defense is compared to last year when we faced the Chiefs. It's not as if the Green Bay is just going to overcome the cold and have a great day on offense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're going to make them hurt for what they earn. And that's all we can ask for as fans.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Color. Well, thank you for coming on this special edition of
Thank you for having me.
What are your final thoughts?
Glad to be back in the top of the tailgate groove, man. We should do this more often.
We should. I can't guarantee we can do it every day, but I do want to do it every other day if possible.
It's tough. I know.
So,
but yeah, anytime, anywhere, I'll be there.
All right. Thanks, Color. I'm going to throw you in the back. Thank you very much. Any last words for Thanksgiving?
Nope. Eat a lot of food. Enjoy your family. Be thankful for what you have. Be thankful for what you don't have, because what you don't have is what you aspire to attain. And you should be thankful for the journey and the fight for it.
Definitely. Thank you, Color. I agree with that 100%. Be thankful for the things that you don't have to inspire to obtain. And I definitely agree with that. Well, it's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. That was our Thanksgiving special. We really appreciate everybody that came out. Thank you, Color. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. And on behalf of the entire TFTG family, we wish you adieu and have a happy Thanksgiving. Till next time, this is Top of the Till.